Hey guys, my name is Mike Mezuel II, and I'm an extreme nature photographer. B&H has invited me to come nerd out with you guys today and share 5 of my favorite tips for shooting in extreme environments. So let's go. Alright guys, tip number 1, keep your camera gear safe. Depending on the environment that I'm going to, I'll utilize a variety of tools to keep my camera gear, my body, my lens, all that safe while I'm out there. So for example, if I'm going into, say, Arizona to document the haboob or monsoon season, there's a lot of sand out there, especially when you get into haboobs, which are the giant sandstorms. So believe it or not, you'll find me out there shooting with an underwater housing. Now, this is my Aquatech light housing, and it comes with me every time I go out to Arizona for the monsoon season because there's just so much sand out there. And especially when you get into the big sandstorms, that is the last thing that you want attacking your camera. So I'll throw in my Nikon D850 into the housing and I'll shoot away with full confidence that none of that sand is gonna make its way into, say, the zoom mechanisms of my camera or even onto my sensor. So Aquatech housing comes with me, but if carrying around an underwater housing isn't necessarily your thing, I definitely recommend investing in one of the simple and cheap rain cover bags for your camera. These things maybe go for about $5 to $10. They work quite well. You just throw them over your camera, pull the cord at the end around the end of your lens or the lens hood, and that keeps most of the moisture off of your camera. It doesn't really work as well for, say, sand or debris in the air or even ash, but it does help with moisture. So this comes with me everywhere when I'm out shooting in, say, tornadoes or storms or anything like that. Also, a good old cloth, cotton cloth comes with me everywhere I go, just to wipe down any sort of moisture or dirt or anything that gets onto the camera. You want to work that off right as it happens, not necessarily wait till you get back home that night and clean off your camera or your lens then. You don't want any of that moisture to possibly work its way into the camera or into your lenses. So keep a good lens cloth with you everywhere you go, and that will help keep your gear nice and safe. Alright guys, tip number 2 when shooting in extreme environments. The key word here is extreme. So the last thing you really have a chance to do is go and dig deep in your camera bag and really think out everything you want to do with your camera lenses, which camera body, yada yada. So come prepared. So for me, I always go into any environment with at least 2 to 3 bodies. One with my wide, one with a mid zoom, and then one with a tele, or if I'm only using 2 bodies, it's typically one with a telephoto lens and then one with a wide lens. I kind of anticipate the scene that I'm going into, so that way I'm all set up when I get there and I'm not having to worry about changing lenses or my settings or anything like that. I'm just there, I'm ready to shoot and good to go. So make sure you anticipate what you're going into. It could be something as simple as having extra memory cards or batteries in your pocket so you don't have to dig into your bag. Especially that's hard if you're in, say, sub-zero temperatures. You don't want to take your gloves off to go digging for those guys. So before you leave the hotel or your car, think about what it is you're going to need and where you can put it that's easily accessible. Alright guys, third tip, invest in a reliable tripod. What do I mean by that? Well, think about it like this. You take your expensive camera with your expensive lens and you put it on top of this 3-legged thing. You want to make sure that you can trust it. So while you're out shooting in extreme environments, whether it's windy or rainy or muddy, you want something that you know you can put your camera on and walk away from, and it's still going to be there when you return. So when I'm traveling, say like if I'm doing something more backcountry, I invest in a carbon fiber tripod, one that's a little bit lighter, makes the hike a bit easier. But if I'm out in, say, Tornado Alley, where it's really windy, typically it's muddy and there's lots of opportunity for a tripod to fail, I make sure to bring a heavier duty tripod, one that I know I can plant down and it's not going to go anywhere. So make sure that the tripod you're using is suitable for the conditions that you are shooting in. All right, tip number 4, bring a variety of lenses with you. It's very easy as a landscape photographer to get caught up in the whole wide angle mindset. Now, there are some beautiful wide angle shots, especially while out shooting, say, supercell thunderstorms, but using a mid zoom, say a 24-70, even a 70-200 at times, or 200-500 can be quite beneficial to bring your audience into those very special scenes that you may overlook in just a wide angle shot. So for example, when I'm out shooting the Fuego volcano in Guatemala, there's a beautiful mid-zoom shot, say at 24 millimeters, where you can see the whole volcano, but at 200 millimeters, you can zoom right in on that crater and capture all those explosive elements going on when the volcano erupts. Something you would miss with a 24 millimeter. Out shooting storms, 14-24 is my favorite focal length because you could see the whole storm as an entire thing. This just amazing beast in the sky. But sometimes a 70-200, especially if you get a tornado, allows you to zoom in on the debris within the tornado and see all the intricate things that are flying around in there and show the power of that storm. So don't just get focused on one focal length. Bring a variety of focal lengths with you, but as we mentioned in the earlier tip, kind of anticipate what you're going to need when you're out there. That way you don't have to swap lenses on the go and you can keep your camera gear safe. Alright guys, my fifth and final tip is to go and storyboard. So when you go into an environment that's a little bit chaotic, the last thing you want to do is get out there and have absolutely no clue what it is you want to shoot. Storyboarding is going to be an effective way for you to get out there, have a shot sheet for all the images or video you want to create, and be able to check them off one by one as they happen. Now, nature is going to do nature things, and you may not get all the shots you want, but have a storyboard or have a set of shots that you want to get, and as they happen, check them off. And be flexible with this, but also be patient. Nature isn't always going to give you that beautiful shot of a volcano erupting under the Milky Way. Clouds may get in the way or the volcano may not erupt, but be patient and give yourself ample time to get that shot. Now, also be flexible and be willing to wait longer than you feel you need. I've had lots of times when I've been out there, especially with lightning, and I'm like, all right, the storm's done. I'm getting impatient. Maybe I'm a little hungry and I want some dinner. And I pack up my gear and then boom, that lightning strike happens. And if I would have waited just 30 more seconds, I would have had the shot. So storyboard, be patient, be perseverant, and have fun. Alright guys, that's a wrap. Those are my 5 tips for shooting in extreme environments. I want to thank B&H Photo for the opportunity to come out and nerd out with you guys. I hope you've been inspired and learned a few things along the way. Now get out there and create some awesome images.